Buenos dias, Kodiaks. This week I have for you a book called The Name Jar, and I wanted to talk to you about an idea, a way kind of to look at books. So oftentimes we love escaping into new worlds in books, and sometimes we like books that are about someone that we can connect to and identify with. So one way to think about that is that some books are like windows, meaning you can look through them and learn about a different world or a different culture or just a different experience. So I think about when the sixth graders read Out of the Dust. I haven't been in a situation like the Dust Bowl. That book for me is like a window. But some books for us can be like mirrors. When we look in them, we can see a reflection of ourselves. So maybe there's something we can connect to. We have a similar experience. We have a similar background. Some kind of modern realistic fiction can kind of be like that for people too. So I have a story today called The Name Jar. And I want you to kind of be thinking about if this is a window for you or a mirror for you. The Name Jar by Yang Suk Choi. Through the school bus window, Eun Hye looked out at the strange buildings and houses on the way to her new school. It was her first day, and she was nervous and excited. She fingered the little block of wood in her pocket and remembered leaving her grandmother at the airport in Korea. Her grandmother had wiped away Eun Hye's tears and handed her an ink pad and a small red satin pouch. "Your name is inside," she had said. "My name?" Eun Hye had wondered. Again, she took out the red pouch to look at the wooden block with her name carved in it. As she ran her fingers along the grooves and ridges of the Korean characters, she pictured her grandmother's smile. "Is that a thing for show and tell?" a boy asked Eun Hye, surprising her. Eun Hye looked up as more kids leaned over. "No, it's mine," Eun Hye answered, quickly putting the pouch back in her pocket. "Are you new here? What's your name?" a girl asked. "Eun Hye," said Eun Hye. "Uni?" the girl asked, scrunching up her face. "Ooh, uni," some of the kids chanted. No, Eun Hye corrected. It's spelled Unhei. It's pronounced Eun Hye. "Oh, it's you hey," the boy said, like you hey. "What about hey you?" Just then the bus pulled up to the school and the doors opened. Eun Hye hurried to get off. "You hey, bye-bye," the kids yelled as she left. Eun Hye felt herself blush. Eun Hye stood in the doorway of her new and noisy classroom. She was relieved that the kids on the bus had gone to other rooms, but her face still felt red. "Aren't you going in?" asked a curly-haired boy with lots of dots on his face. "You're the new girl, right?" he asked cheerfully. Eun Hye nodded, and before she could walk away, the boy took her hand and pulled her through the door. "Here's the new girl," he announced so loudly that the teacher, Mr. Kokoda, almost dropped his glasses. Mr. Kokoda thanked him and greeted Eun Hye. Please welcome our newest student," he said to the class. She and her family just arrived from Korea last week. Eun Hye smiled broadly and tried not to show her nervousness. "What's your name?" someone shouted. Eun Hye pictured the kids on the bus. "I haven't chosen one yet," she told the class, "but I'll let you know next week." Mr. Kokoda showed her to her desk, and she felt many round, curious eyes on her. "Why doesn't she have a name?" she heard someone whisper. "Maybe she robbed a bank in Korea and needs a new identity," a boy replied. On the bus home, nobody teased her, but Eun Hye kept thinking about her name. "How was school, Eun Hye?" her mother asked when she walked in. "Did you understand the teacher?" Eun Hye simply nodded. She unpacked her school bag and set the red pouch by a photograph of her grandma. "I'm glad you're learning English well," her mother said. "You must study hard, behave nicely, and get good grades to show you're a good Korean." "I will," replied Eun Hye, but I think I would like my own American name," she said quickly. Her mother looked at her with surprise. "Why? Eun Hye is a beautiful name. Your grandma and I went to a name master for it." "But it's so hard to pronounce," Eun Hye complained. "I don't want to be different from all the American kids." "You are different, Eun Hye," her mother said. "That's a good thing." Eun Hye just wrinkled her nose. Later that day, Eun Hye and her mother went grocery shopping in their new neighborhood. They passed Fadil's Falafel, Tony's Pizza, and Dot's Deli. A big graffiti-painted garbage truck roared like a lion as it took off down the street. Nothing sounded or looked familiar until they got to Kim's Market. The sign was in both English and Korean. Her mother picked up cabbage to make kimchi, Korean-style spicy pickled cabbage, and other vegetables and meat. She also found some seaweed, Eun Hye's favorite for soup. It made Eun Hye smile. Just because we've moved to America, her mother said, doesn't mean we have to stop eating Korean food. At the checkout counter, a friendly man smiled at Eun Hye. Helping your mother with the shopping, he asked. Eun Hye nodded. I'm Mr. Kim, he said, and what is your name? Eun Hye, she answered. Ah, what a beautiful name, he said. Doesn't it mean grace? Eun Hye nodded again. My mother and grandmother went to a name master for it, she told him. A graceful name for a graceful girl, Mr. Kim said as he put their groceries into bags. Welcome to the neighborhood, Eun Hye. That evening, Eun Hye stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Hi, my name is Amanda, she said cheerfully. Then she wrinkled her nose. Hi, my name is Laura. Maybe not. Her smile turned down. Nothing sounded right. Nothing felt right. I don't think American kids will like me, she worried as she began to brush her teeth. Hi, my name is Suzy, she said to the mirror with her mouth full of toothpaste. The next morning, when Eun Hye arrived at school, she found a glass jar on her desk with some pieces of paper in it. Eun Hye took one out and read it aloud. Daisy. That's my baby sister's nickname, but she said you can use it if you want, said Cindy, who sat next to her. Eun Hye took out another piece of paper. Tamala, she read. I got it from a storybook, said Nate. She was smart and brave. Eun Hye nodded and unfolded another piece. Wednesday? Yeah, you came here on Wednesday, said Ralph. Thank you for your help. A smile spread over Eun Hye's face. Ralph quickly said, we'll put more names in it. You can pick whatever you like, or pick them all, and you'll have the longest name in history. At 3 o'clock, the bell rang for the end of the school day. Eun Hye looked out the window and saw it was sprinkling. It's the same rain, she thought, but in a different place. She watched the other kids leaving in groups. Hey, a familiar voice called out to her. Eun Hye turned to see the curly-haired boy again. I'm Joey, he said, and you? You don't have any name? Eun Hye thought for a moment. Well, I can show you, she said, and took out the small red pouch. She pressed the wooden block on the ink pad and then stamped it on a piece of paper. This is my name stamp, she said. My grandma gave it to me. In Korea, I can use it as a signature when I open a bank account or write a letter. And whenever I miss my grandma, I use it to fill a piece of paper. Want to try it? She offered the stamp to Joey, and he carefully inked the stamp and pressed it hard on the paper. The red characters gleamed against the whiteness. Wow, that's beautiful, Joey said. Can I keep the paper? Sure, Eun Hye said, and then the two of them shared her umbrella as they walked to the school bus. Every day the jar got fuller with more names, and Eun Hye read them all. She found a few names she liked, Miranda, Stella, Avery. They sounded interesting. I hope you choose the name I put in, Marco told her at snack time. I've put in 3 more, said Ralph. Madison, Park, and Lex. They're my favorite street names. Maybe you should close your eyes and draw a name, Rosie suggested. Ralph frowned. That's silly. What if she doesn't like the name she draws? Okay, you can get something else. I want cereal. Well, we didn't get to choose our names. Okay. When we were born, did we? Rosie argued. Everyone thought about this. When Eun Hye got home from school that day, her little brother ran to give her a letter. It was from her grandma. She opened it quickly. To my Eun Hye, I hope you are enjoying your new school and new friends. Be sure to keep your mother and help your mother and your little brother. Just a minute. Here the moon is up, but there the sun is up. No matter how far apart we are, and no matter how different America is from Korea, you'll always be my Eun Hye, your grandma forever. Eun Hye took out her wooden stamp and filled a paper with it. She thought for a long time in front of the bathroom mirror. On Saturday, Eun Hye walked to Mr. Kim's store. Mr. Kim was helping a customer, but he looked up and greeted her. Hi, Eun Hye. Hello, Mr. Kim, Eun Hye replied. She felt as if she were back in her old neighborhood in Korea. Hey, said the customer, turning around. It was Joey. Your name is Eun Hye? He asked her, with his eyes open wide. Eun Hye looked quickly at Mr. Kim, then turned to Joey. She nodded slowly. Yes, it's pronounced Eun Hye. And it means grace, Mr. Kim added. Eun Hye, Joey said slowly, and this time perfectly. It made Eun Hye smile. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow, said Mr. Kim to Joey. Thank you, Mr. Kim. See you Monday, Eun Hye, Joey said to her. He left before she could ask him why he was at the store. On Monday, Eun Hye came to class early to look at the names one last time, but the jar wasn't on her desk. Instead, there was just a single piece of paper with a name on it. Eun Hye slipped it in her pocket. Where's your name jar? Ralph asked as soon as he saw it was gone. I don't know, Eun Hye said. It wasn't on Mr. Kokotis's desk or on any other desk. It wasn't on the counters or any of the shelves. As the other kids arrived, they helped look. Soon, Mr. Kokotis came in and Ralph shouted at him, The name jar is gone, the jar with all the names in it. Gone, Mr. Kokotis replied. With a look of concern, he asked Eun Hye, Did you get a chance to read all the names? Eun Hye nodded. She took a breath. I am ready to introduce myself, she said. Eun Hye wrote her name in both English and Korean on the chalkboard. I like the beautiful names and the funny names you thought of for me, she told the class, but I realized that I liked my name best, so I chose it again. Korean names mean something. Eun Hye means grace. Grace, grace, Eun Hye, shouted Ralph. Everyone tried to say it. Eun Hye, Eun Hye, Eun Hye. Eun Hye said her name again, slowly and clearly. Soon the kids began to say it better, even Mr. Kokotis. They applauded Eun Hye's choice. I was named after a flower, Rosie whispered to Eun Hye. Lots of American names have meanings too, Mr. Kokotis reminded everyone. When class was dismissed, Eun Hye heard her new friend say goodbye. Goodbye, Eun Hye. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Eun Hye. Eun Hye said goodbye and then looked around for Joey, but he was already gone. Eun Hye, come downstairs, Mother called up to Eun Hye. Your friend is here. Eun Hye rushed down to see who she meant. There stood Joey, and in his arms was the name jar. Where did you find it? Asked Eun Hye breathlessly. Joey looked embarrassed. Well, I took it, but only because I wanted you to keep your own name, and you did. He reached in and pulled out the names. Do you want to keep them? He asked. Thank you. I'll keep them as a souvenir, Eun Hye said happily. Then she pulled out the piece of paper from her pocket. Do you want this back? Joey grinned. You can keep it. I'll return the name jar to class. Maybe you could put some Korean nicknames in it for us, names with good meanings. I could do that, agreed Eun Hye. I've already got a Korean nickname, Joey said. Mr. Kim helped me choose it. Carefully, he pulled out a small silver felt pouch from his pocket. Then he took out a dark wooden stamp with beautiful Korean characters carved sharply into it. He pressed it on the ink pad and then on the piece of paper next to her name. Chinku, read Eun Hye. That means friend. And Chinku smiled back. And then this inside covers are just pictures of all the different names and her stamp. So, anyhow, what a great book. Was it a window for you? Was it a mirror? Maybe you could see yourself in the character of Eun Hye if you've ever had trouble with people pronouncing your name right, or if you've ever felt nervous going to a new school or moving to a new place. Maybe you saw yourself in Joey, who was really committed to helping his friend be herself. Or maybe it was a window and this is something new for you. It was new for me. All right, that's it for Stories with Sheffels. I'll see you next Wednesday. Don't forget to keep track of your reading and your reading log so we can feed Cody the Kodiak when we come back to school. All right, bye.